In this video, I'm going to help you transform your job interviews. These are some golden nuggets that I've picked up across the years, and I'm going to teach them all to you in this video. But before we get into it, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Now let's get into the first little tip. Firstly, do not memorize. Don't memorize answers that are about you or about your experience. Don't practice all these practice questions and try to memorize all the answers. Of course, if you have technical information that you need to learn that. But anything about yourself or your experience, don't try to memorize or rote learn answers. I promise it's not going to work. First reason why is because you are going to try to make the answer that you have memorized fit into a question that you're being asked, even if the answer doesn't really fit. I've done this before. I remember in my first job interviews ever when I was 21, I tried to memorize all my questions and all my answers. I was so nervous. And then when I got asked a question, I tried to make the answers fit that I had memorized, and it didn't work. I didn't get the job. It was horrible. It felt really clunky. And the interviewer could tell that I was just memorizing answers. So don't try to memorize. The second reason why is you'll actually get nervous if you get asked a question that you haven't prepared for. You'll start freaking out about, oh God, I didn't memorize an answer for this. Instead, just don't memorize any answers and try to answer on the spot, answer organically and authentically. You're gonna have much better success in your interviews. And also, if you memorize answers, your tone is going to be so monotonous because you're going to be so focused on just regurgitating the answer. You're not going to be talking with authenticity and with real expression. You're going to be just saying the words. And this is going to be so obvious when you're talking to the interviewer that you're just memorizing an answer and you're not being authentic when you're answering their question. So honestly, stick away from memorizing answers about yourself and about your experience. And the key here is just to answer questions authentically in the moment. Listen to the questions being asked to you and just answer authentically. Now, key number 2 is you can pause. Don't feel like you have to answer questions immediately. As soon as you get asked a question, you have to have the answer. Relax. This is a normal conversation. If somebody asks you a tricky conversation in day-to-day life, you don't expect yourself to have the answer immediately. Sometimes you need a moment to think about it. This is completely fine in job interviews. It is normal to actually need to think. You're a normal human being. Now, one little trick I have here is to say it, is to admit it. You can say, and I've done this before, I've said, that's a great question. Just give me a moment to think about that. Or even something like, oh, I've never been asked that before. Give me a moment, let me think about the answer. Something like this, you can actually acknowledge the pause, and then you could be quiet and silent for 5 to 10 seconds and genuinely think about the answer. Now, the key here is to actually think. You want to really listen to the question and take enough time to ensure you can actually think about your best answer. The third key is to be concise. If you are somebody that loves to talk a lot and loves to go on a tangent, loves to go on a story, which to be honest is the case for a lot of Indian people. I've held a number of job interviews in India for Indian positions with Indian candidates, and they talk a lot and they go on stories and tangents and they don't even get to the point of the question. So if you are like this, whether you're Indian or not, make sure you practice answering in a concise way. Make sure you're actually listening to the question and you're actually answering the question with your response. A good way to structure your answer is the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. And this is a good way for you to structure your answer so you actually have some sort of methodology about how you're actually responding to the question. Now, the key here is that practice makes perfect. Spend time practicing being concise and actually answering questions. And the fourth and final nugget is to commit. Once you come up with an answer in your job interview, I want you to commit to that answer. Maybe in 1 minute or 5 minutes, or the next day you think of a better response. It's okay, this happens to everybody. There's always another situation you could have spoken about or another circumstance, but I want you to commit to the answer you come up with. Once you think of something, once you think of an appropriate response in the interview, stick to it, commit to it, and give your best vocal response using the situation that you've thought about. Don't second guess yourself, don't get nervous, don't start to fumble, really commit and find confidence in your delivery of that answer that you've thought about. Confidence is key. Once you think of that answer, commit to it with confidence, speak with confidence, articulate in a confident way, and deliver your response to the interviewer, letting them know that you are confident in your capabilities and you have the experience to answer the question, and you have the experience for the job as well. So those are 4 little golden nuggets to dramatically help you improve your job interviews. If that was helpful, make sure you smash that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.